What's going on, Neon Nation? Welcome back to the Neon Arcade for some more Cyberpunk 2077 and Cyberpunk lore. Today we're talking about the prolific megacorporations in Cyberpunk 2020 that may have a presence in Cyberpunk 2077. In today's video, we'll look at all the types of megacorporations and the corporations within these subsets. We will also look at their roles, how deadly they are, and other notable points or secrets about how these megacorps operate, and just how powerful each of them really are. Due to the nature of how many megacorps there are, we won't dive into all of them, and we'll save some of them for future videos. In the world of Night City, megacorps run the cyberpunk landscape with an iron fist and are essentially judge, jury, and executioner. They are the kings within cyberpunk, and slaying a top-tier corporate only means another unscrupulous individual who is frothing at the mouth at the opportunity will fill the void in the corporation. These are the corporations that keep Night City and the world of cyberpunk a battered dystopian landscape where hope is siphoned out of the people and redistributed as a marketable product. The chains of oppression in this world is the dream of luxury and chasing the latest fashion wear and technological trends to get the upper hand. The corporation power structure is set up so that the president and CEO are at the top, and underneath them is a variety of mid to high level executives thirsty to climb up the corporate ladder. Junior execs are the forward-thinking yuppies, and managers are above them, overseeing specific departments. Infighting starts at the management level, as dishonesty, tricks, bribery, and other underhanded tactics are the primary factor in promotions. At senior management and higher, corporates start to have true power and always travel with a heavy armed presence. Next, let's look at the type of corporations that there are and the most prolific megacorps within that subset. First up, we have Mediacorporations. These are huge conglomerates that grew from a trend in the late 1980s where firms bought up all forms of media networks such as film companies, TV networks, book and magazine publishers to control the media and the narrative. This has resulted in entertainment being the same generic and bland style, and hundreds of magazines are produced by the same company to represent a cohesive image of the world. Dissenting opinions are buried under media hype tactics or destroyed by the vicious and competitiveness of top-tier media corps. Political candidates have realized having connections to these media corps are of utmost importance and can literally sway entire elections through their use. While no major government is controlled by a media corp in 2020, it seems to be only a matter of time. First up in our media corps is Network 54 News, a 24-hour news service across the United States. No matter where you go within the States, it's always on Channel 54. Despite its name, it offers more than just raw news. Every regional office offers a slightly different schedule depending on the district, and they air anything from syndicated series to non-primetime movies and local news programs. Primetime series and national and world news is of course standard across all regions. Next we have World News Service, which is, as you can imagine, a news service which keeps tabs on the world by any means possible. It has such high traction across the world that newspapers and news stations across the globe pay large sums of money to receive the very best WNS stories. Few competitors can match WNS's information gathering capabilities, and WNS does this through not only legitimate means, but also by spying, espionage, sabotage, and illegal snooping. WNS does not run any stations of its own, but brokers its information to the highest bidder. The juicier the story, the higher the price. Next we have Agricorps. In the world of cyberpunk, the age of the family farm ended somewhere in the 1990s, with the United States being the world's foremost producer of raw food stock and the increased need for grain and crops to create fuel and plastic. Agribusiness became incredibly powerful post-crash. In 2020, Agricorps own nearly 65% of farmland in the United States. This feeds a third of the world's population and supplies organic fuels and plastics to almost 2/3. Petrochem is an Agricorp focused on petrochemical products and keeps the world running as the world's largest producer of superfuel Chu-2. They control millions of acres of arable land across the US. This land is used to grow genetically altered wheat that is used to make Chu-2, and all the surplus grain is shipped across the world as food. They're also one of the last remaining oil producers. Their dominance as an Agricorp paints a huge target on their backs, and in response owns an armed force worth a small country to protect its assets. Industrial espionage is a major problem within the industry. Soviet Oil World Industries, known in the West as Sovoil, is a petrochemical corporation headquartered in the USSR. The richest company in the Soviet Union, it uses its economic power to manipulate and control the Soviet government, leading to it being a world power in 2020. Petrochem is Sovoil's primary business rival. They have a license to produce Chew-2, although their product is inferior to Petrochem's. Next, we have the manufacturing corporations. These corporations were least affected by the collapse due to the capitalistic nature of the industry. Manufacturing ranges from vehicles to weapons to even children's toys. First in the manufacturing corporations, we have Militech, which is a megacorporation specializing in weapons and manufacturing of all kinds and private military contracting. It is the largest weapons manufacturer in the world, and Militech's catalog of these weapons are used by hundreds of nations. Militech's various divisions, such as corporate security to military operations to mercenary divisions, are all top tier within the industry. Based out of the eastern US, they work closely with police and military forces. We see Militech frequently in the 2077 content we've seen so far, including Meredith Stout as an operations manager working for Militech in 2077. Next we have Arasaka, which deals in corporate security, corporate policing, and various corporate sub-operations. Arasaka is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful corporation in the world of cyberpunk. They maintain the largest armed force of any corporation, and troops are mostly licensed out to other firms as corporate security guards and mercenaries. These troops are loyal to Arasaka to the point of death. Arasaka's main goal is to use their position for their own political goals and use positions of trust to gain advantages to realize their main goal of political and economic control of Japan. EBM or Euro Business Machines is a megacorporation that specializes in the manufacturing of computer products, information tech, and electronics. In the late 1990s, EBM performed a massive free market takeover, leading to the merging of EBM with a vast number of other computer companies around the world and strengthening their image and power in the market. Next we have IEC, the world's largest cybernetics developer. Now many megacorps in the world of cyberpunk can trace their power and influence to some sort of specialty, but IEC is dominant in many areas, including consumer products, defense industry, heavy industry, media, and computers. For all these reasons, IEC fits into a variety of subsets of corporations. In 2020, IEC is on the cutting edge of the development of civilian and military-grade cyberware and holds the US military cybernetics contract, which is a thorn in the side of Militech. Next up, we have computing corporations. With the emergence of the net and the availability of advanced technology, almost everything in the cyberpunk world revolves around the computer. Zetatech in 2020 is an up-and-coming high-tech company focused on wetware, computer hardware, and software designs. It has a smaller niche in the industry using traditional methods. Quality products, industrial espionage, and strategic violence have all led to Zetatech becoming at the forefront of up-and-coming computing companies. In the 2077 demo, we see V's apartment is in a Zetatech no-house, which might imply they have expanded since 2020. Microtech is a megacorporation who produces ultra-sophisticated mainframes and workstations and are proficient at building full-size computers. Microtech is the industry standard in this department. Microtech is protected by covert military resources due to the amount of companies looking to take them down or acquire them. Next we have science corporations who produce and develop anything from bioware to cybernetics to human clones to crops and biofuels. Biotechnica is the main science corporation who specializes in genetic engineering, microbiological, and biochemical research. The fuel crisis of the 1990s led Biotechnica to come up with the answer in Chew-2. A complex grain alcohol produced by genetically engineered wheat was introduced by Biotechnica, and within a few years, all fuel-burning vehicles and power plants had made the swap. Biotechnica had worldwide patents but could not keep up with worldwide demand and was forced to license production to several large Agricorps. Next we have armed force corporations. In the dangerous world of cyberpunk, the modern police force is largely ineffective, and thus corporations have stepped in to monetize this industry. Armed force corporations include Arasaka and Militech, but since we've already talked about those corporations, we're left with Lazarus. Lazarus is a megacorporation focused on contracting mercenaries and is led by South American war veterans. It has operations across the globe and is one of the largest and most successful armed force operations. Finally, we have the service industries of 2020. First, we have Trauma Team, one of the largest private medical firms in the world, and provides ambulance services for a client base of at least 15 million people. They will kill anyone in their way to assist their injured client, and a TT membership is geared towards the wealthy. REO Meatwagon is Trauma Team's competitor and provides a similar service. They work similarly to Trauma Team but are more cheaply priced and their wait times are longer. Morally, they're also slightly dodgier than TT. Next we have Orbital Air, which focuses on cargo and passenger transport to Earth's orbit and maintenance of commercial orbital facilities. Their French-made Hermes space planes monopolize all orbital lifting capability. Many corporations rely on Orbital Air for transport of cargo out of the gravity well. Next up we have Infocomm, a corporate think tank and group of information brokers. They provide scientific, technical, and personal data pertaining to any subject to anyone who can afford to pay for it. They have a huge library of existing information and they pride themselves on their elite research, unearthing, and theorizing skills. Finally, we have Merrill Asukaga and Finch, an exclusive investment and financial counseling firm. They are the top corporation dealing with investments of all kinds. Their high caliber of service has attracted the richest and most powerful people in the world. Thanks for watching, guys, and for everything and anything Cyberpunk 2077, join Neon Nation by subscribing to the Neon Arcade.